Today we're going to talk a little bit about beef cattle production. What goes on with the rancher when he's producing the steaks that are put on the consumer's table. And it's a very diverse industry. Lot of things involved when we talk about beef cattle production, and there's a lot of people involved in it as well. And there's a lot of differences when we think about geographic regions where beef cattle are raised, all the way from coast to coast and from border to border. We've got cow-calf production or stocker or some of these other segments of our business are scattered all around those particular areas. And so there's a lot of differences in the way we produce or run our ranches as we move across the United States. And there's beef cattle production in every state and even Hawaii when we think about how broad and diverse our cattle business is. When we think about kind of the average rancher and what the average size of the average rancher is, we think about probably somewhere in the range of about 35 to 40 cows per rancher. And that can range anywhere from somebody that's got 1 or 2 cows all the way to people that have got 10 to 20,000 cows. And so it's a very big, diverse operation. When we think about segments and how production is broken out, we talked about the average size being 35 to 40 head, but about 90% of the ranches in the United States have less than that 100 head of cows. So we would consider them fairly small operations, small, local, what we term sometimes mom-pop operations, but they're kind of the family ranches. And those ranches account for about 50% of the cattle in the United States. And so there's a lot of smaller ranches out there. At the same time, the other 50% of the ranches are going to be those that have that 100 plus cows, and they're going to be more into the business of full time. They're making the sole living off of that. They're supporting a family or multiple families off of those ranches. And so a lot of differences in the size of ranches as we move around and we move across the United States. When we think about the cattle producer or the production of beef cattle here in the United States, it's a very broad industry. We begin to focus on, when we're talking about the production of cattle, there's 3 different segments that are involved in the production side of it, and that would be the cow-calf, the stocker or the grazing portion, and then finally the feeding portion of the business.